Hi, it's Sally. Happy Easter. I'm going to show you another little project idea, fun project that you can do for making some fun spring cards. Sap green, cadmium yellow, Prussian blue, ultramarine blue, and violet. The first thing I'm going to do is paint a grassy meadow on the bottom of my page. That's your first step. And I'm just using a round brush, a round number 10 brush. And this is just wet on dry paper. Okay, so I've dried it, and now I'm going to go over top with a green color to create my grass. Ooh, I don't know if I like this green that's in my palette here. This is supposedly a sap green, but I'm actually going to, rather than use that green, I'm going to make my own green. I'm going to make a green from my ultramarine blue and my yellow. I think that's a more pleasant green, if you can see that here. Yeah, I'm just going to do what's called glazing over top. Glazing is just a watercolor term. It means when you're layering another color on top of the existing color. Okay? Let's take some of these grasses right up into the sky. And then you're going to dry this. My next step is I'm going to put some splatters on my little painting. And the colors that I'm going to use for my splatters are my ultramarine blue, my Prussian blue, and my violet. You got to mix your colors ahead of time, have them ready so that you have some available to work with. So you're going to create splatters using those three colors on top of your page. And how you create a splatter is you just use your pencil and you're going to tap your watercolor brush against your pencil to create splatters. Okay? You want some larger splatters and some smaller splatters. And you want different colors of splatters. So here's my purple that I'm putting on. It's hard to tell what colors these are, but when I start to paint out of them, and I'll explain that in a minute, what painting out is, so you can see. And my ultramarine blue. Okay, so what I mean by painting out, you're taking your splatters and you're drawing the color out of them into little shapes that would resemble flowers. So you can actually add in color to these little flowers too. If you think, oh, I want a little bit more purple over here, just throw some purple in it while it's wet, and that purple paint will travel. So you can see there's all these beautiful little flowers that are starting to come out of these blobs. Yeah, so just add in stems. Okay, so these are my poppy shapes that I drew with just a plain fine tip black felt pen. And I'm going to put some of these images on top of my little painting that I did. Okay, so the type of pen that I'm going to be using to do this, I got at Staples. It's an OptiFlow pen, but you could totally use a Sharpie. You could use a Micron Pigma pen. I'm using the OptiFlow pen because that's the one that I like. The only not so great thing about the OptiFlow pen is it's not waterproof. So if you're wanting to go back into this, you want to use a pen that's waterproof, such as the Sharpie or the Pigma pen. So using my little images as a guide, I'm just going to draw some flowers on here. So I'm starting with my stem, and then I'm going to draw a little poppy type image on top. Don't be perfect about this. The less perfect, the better. You want this to look imperfect, because that's what makes it fun and whimsical. Okay, so I've gone through and I've drawn in my little images. And now my next step is to create a salutation for my card. What I like to do first with my lettering is I actually use a sketchbook and I draw it out first, just using a regular pencil, and I get my letters looking and positioned the way that I want them to. I'm painting on top of it so I can see it better. And I'm going to trace my letters onto my page using my Tombow pen. So I'm just going to move this around to determine where exactly I want to place it. So I'm thinking I prefer it over to the side like this. So when you're working with a brush pen, your downstrokes are always thicker than your upstrokes. And a lot of times I'll lift my pen right off the page rather than doing it all in one stroke. And then if there's areas that are kind of a little bit shaky, because I'm doing this standing up, I really should be sitting down, you can go back into that with your fine black pen and just fix them up. So I'm going to, maybe I'll just show you how to do a P here. I'm going to put the video on pause so I can finish doing this. So thick on the downstrokes, lift your pen, and into the upstroke it's thin. So thick on the downstroke, thin on the upstroke. So here's my little card with my lettering on it. I think I'm going to add a little bit of this at the risk of ruining it, but I gotta try this white gel pen from Sakura on top of my black lettering. So I'm gonna see what the letters look like after I do that. So I'm just putting little polka dots on the letters. I've taken my white pen and I've put it on my letters. Now my next step is find a piece of coordinating cardstock. I thought this teal color looked nice, so I'm going to double-sided tape that onto there and then onto my card. And the next photo you will see is a finished photo of my Spring Blessings card. So yeah, that's my little gift to you. All of you great people that are on my email list that I've neglected over the past couple of weeks. This is my Happy Easter from Sally.